This episode of the Savage Lovecast is brought to you by Soaking Wet by VB Health, the world's first probiotic specifically designed for vaginal and vulva health and wellness. Visit soakingwet.com and use code SAVAGE for 10% off or click the link in this episode's show notes.
You're listening to After Action Report at savage.love.
After Action Report. Hey, everybody. This is After Action Report, where I interview people who've tried something they've never done before. This week, I spoke with Doll, who had one wild ride of a night. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Joining me for this installment of After Action Report, Doll. Doll, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So before we talk about the new experience, the new thing you tried and how it went, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a lesbian in my 30s in a major city in the Northeast.
I think that's enough to go on. So what is the new thing that you did that you wanted to talk about and debrief about today on After Action Report?
So the new kink that I tried is dollification. And for those who don't know, dollification is exactly what it sounds like. It's where the sub is treated like a doll, dressed up, sometimes immobilized, moved around. And I had kind of played around with my girlfriend with the idea of me being her doll before, but we hadn't actually had a whole scene about it until this sex party that we went to where she designed a doll scene for me. And that was my first time.
I've heard of mannequin fetishes before. Agalmaltophilia, which is a sexual attraction to dolls, mannequins, statues, human-like figures. Is dollification a variation on that kink, or is it a distinct kink?
I think it's distinct from it. I think it has more in common with like forniphilia, if you've heard of that, like people who like to be footstools and coat racks and so on. It's more about the feeling of being objectified, literally treated as an object.
So it was your girlfriend who planned this experience for you. Where did it happen? When did it happen? How did it happen? Set the scene for us.
Lesbian sex party a couple months ago. And I guess picture a loft full of dykes of all ages and stripes. And everybody, the only thing they all have in common is that everybody is very kinky. And so we do plan like specific scenes for these parties, mainly because they have furniture at these parties that we don't have access to otherwise, such as St. Andrew's crosses and hard points in the ceiling and so on. And so that was part of this scene.
I just talked to a guy who went to a sex party and did a clothed male, naked female scene with his partner or one of his partners. And, you know, it was a big sex party, kink club. And I've talked to so many people who've been to sex parties and kink clubs. It just feels like there's sex parties going on all around us that we don't know about.
I mean, there are.
Like every time I see a door now, I'm like, there's a sex party behind that door? Because it sure seems like it after talking to people on After Action Board. A lot of people out there, a lot more people out there going to sex parties than I think I even realized.
Well, are there 4 to 6 extremely stressed out gay people having a smoke break in front of the door? Because I feel like that's kind of required.
So tell us about the scene. You wanted to do a dollification scene. Your girlfriend planned a dollification scene for you. Give us the blow by blow. What does that look like? What is a dollification scene? If we were watching from across the room or observing, because that's part of the fun of a sex party is other people get to see your scene. What would I have seen if I was a lesbian and at the lesbian sex party?
Okay, so you would have seen me in my full doll outfit, which I think when I describe it, it sounds like Lolita, but it's not like Lolita. It's like literally like a porcelain doll is what I was going for. Like ringlets, and I had my hair in like really cute little buns, and I did like twiggy kind of lashes, big spots of blush, and I had like a full frilly white lingerie set, which I don't know, it always amuses me to be like the only person at the lesbian sex party who's not in like black latex. Who's just in like full all white lace. And then I had these shoes that look kind of like if ballet shoes were pleasers, and they like laced all the way up to the thigh.
And what was happening to you once you were all dolled up? What did your partner do?
So my girlfriend, she's amazing. She's this like 5'10", extremely hot butch top. She had handmade these. Like, do you know the things that Barbies are restrained in the packaging with as like white twist ties?
They're a little bit like the twist ties on the sandwich bread bags,
Yeah.
but they're a little firmer and a little bigger. And when you open the Barbie or take the Ken doll out, or the Cockring Magic Ken, the last Ken doll I bought, out of the package, you've got to untwist those to release your Ken or Barbie doll.
Yeah, yeah. So she was so excited to have an excuse to go to Butch Paradise that she went to Home Depot and she like got stuff to make me like knee-sized white twist ties. And she restrained me to the St. Andrew's Cross with these white twist ties.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. Like, we've all seen somebody roped to a St. Andrew's cross. Well, all of us who've been to sex parties seen somebody roped to a St. Andrew's cross in wrist or ankle restraints or belts, but giant human-sized Barbie white plastic twist ties have not seen that.
I know, it's ropes are so last year. You got to get into the Barbie twist ties. Um, so yeah, she did that. She was in her like full latex getup. She looked amazing. So when she had me restrained, she would like move my legs around and like pose me a little bit and adjust my hair. And she had like a whole kit of various implements laid out next to her. And so she started with a Wartenberg wheel, which is it's like a sensory toy that allows you to do like little pinpricks along the skin. And every time I moved or cried out, she would tell me that dolls don't make noise and dolls don't move. Then she moved on to, she had a wooden knife that she was dragging around my skin for a while, and she had a metal nail that she was poking me with, scratching me with for a bit, just trying to make me move. And then at one point, she had my hand posed over my head and she had me hold one of her objects, I think hoping to get me to drop it on my head. Like it wouldn't have hurt me or anything. She just wanted to punish me for dropping it. But this is one of the downsides of the scene for me because I quickly began to panic because I couldn't hold the thing up for that long, but I also refused to drop it on my head because I had spent so long getting my hair right. um, so I said yellow, like the stoplight system, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I explained, and she reposed me, so I was no longer holding the thing over my head. And then she moved on to having onlookers help her pose me and write things on my body with body markers. So I didn't know what they were writing at the time, but later I found out that they wrote pretty doll and good girl on me.
So, was there were there orgasms involved, or was it just a sensory experience and a play party and it wasn't about sex? Or did you get off during your big dollification scene at the lesbian sex party?
I did, yeah. So after all of this kind of sensory play, we moved on to knife play, which is something that we've done a lot of before. My girlfriend is kind of known as a knife top. And for those who don't do knife play, all the knives are dull unless you are also doing blood play. But a dull knife is still pretty fucking scary. So
Yeah.
she has this sickle. It's like half moon shaped, like crescent moon shaped, and she had me hold that to my own throat, like posed me there, while she was writing her name on me in welts, and that turned me on a lot. And she noticed that, and so then she had me hold a vibrator to myself while she put all of her stuff away. And then she untied me and she walked me over to a different area of the sex club and bent me over a chair and started fucking me with one of the biggest straps that she owns, which I was not expecting. This is the second place where I yellowed because I was like, I don't know if I can take that. And she was like, "I'll take what they're given." So I tried to focus
So a little pushing your boundaries, a little CNCE there.
a little bit. We played it with before, and she knew that like I would tell her if I absolutely could not do it. And so there was another scene going on right next to us with two doms in boots who were just like kicking the shit out of this sub beside us.
Well, kink. I gotta jump in here and say everybody thinks it's the kinky gay men who play hard. I have been to a mixed kink party with
Hmm.
lesbians and gay men, and the gay men there, like, they can't hold a candle to the like kink. When
Oh yeah.
lesbians are kinky and they go for it, like knife play. Oh my
Yes.
god, knife play. Especially like this was 30 years ago when I saw knife play for the first time at a party, and all the gay men were like backing slowly away because we had all been so we had blood was scary. Blood was how you contracted
Yeah.
HIV, and the lesbians were doing knife play and cutting and like cutting, and we were jumping out of our skins. And I've observed, I've made this observation before, that people who are assigned female at birth, people who are women lesbians, have a comfort with blood because the menstrual cycle, and there's this
Hmm.
familiarity with blood, and it can be richly symbolic of genitals and being in your own body. But for men, like, we don't bleed like that. But you know what men do? Pee. And like urine is a toy.
Yes.
An assigned female at birth person sits down and the water turns yellow, they get up. A boy goes out and like writes his name in the snow and sees how high an arc he can make. And so
Hmm.
the difference, like one of the differences between like kinky lesbians at a sex party is they'll be doing blood play and freaking out the gay men, and the gay men will be doing piss play and freaking out the lesbians. And no shade, like I would have to go lay on the fainting couch in the fainting couch room at the play party if like people were doing knife play in front of me. And I don't like I know a lot of kinky gay men. I don't know any kinky gay men into knife play. Every kinky dyke I've
Hmm.
ever known into knife play and needles.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about lesbians and blades. Every lesbian wants a sword, you know. There's something going on.
Yeah, we'd have to page Dr. Freud for that. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, sometimes a sword is just a sword, but
Hmm. You know, also like every butch wants to be a knight secretly deep down, I think.
it sounds like it was a positive experience for you, the dollification scene, and an elaborate experience that your girlfriend took a lot of trouble to make happen for you. What a great GGG partner.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. She has introduced me to so many things and made so many of my sexual fantasies come true, including this one. I do want to say, for the record, there were orgasms involved. We eventually moved away from the loud kicking with boots scene. She went down on me for a while. She fingered me for a while. That was like a lot more my speed, I think, and I came a lot there. And then we did some cleanup and aftercare, had some snacks, cuddled for a while she told me how pretty it was.
Aw.
Yeah, it was really, really lovely. And then I got to get her back in our next scene. So,
Okay, well, that might be on a next after action report because we're almost out of time.
mhm.
Wanted to ask you, are you going to do this again? Is dollification a kink you're going to explore more? And when you do it again, if you do it again, is there anything you want to do differently next time or explore in more depth?
I'm definitely going to do it again. I think I'm going to do it in private. It was definitely very hot having strangers move me around and sort of being able to stare at them blankly while they admired me as like a physical object, a decorative thing. But I found it ultimately too distracting to have all the other stuff going on around us. I would rather do it alone next time, I think. But I think it really appeals to me specifically. This is my first butch femme relationship, and I think it's specifically to do with that dynamic. Before I realized I was a lesbian when I was dating men, I sort of resented having to perform femininity, and performing it in a kinky way for a woman has been extremely exciting and affirming for me. And I love letting her like dress me up. And so we're definitely going to do more of that.
That's really beautiful. It's really kind of moving. And I wish we had more time to sort of unpack that because
Yeah.
in an opposite sex relationship before you realize you're a lesbian, like femininity might have felt like something you owed him. But in
Yeah.
this relationship, femininity is not necessarily something you owe your partner, and you can relax and enjoy it in an authentic way that doesn't make you question your own motives around why it is you're performing femininity at this moment. And of course, exaggerating it, taking it, dialing it up to 11. Um,
Yeah.
can be really empowering. Like that's like a DS stuff. Like when you submit, you give up your power, and this was a DS scene, and it's almost like this paradox of when the scene ends, you feel more powerful than when it began, because you experience your power again in a way that you don't when it's sort of in the background, when you haven't lost it for a moment. You feel it so much more intensely, and I imagine that's the same with femininity for you.
I think that she's made me feel that in a lot of ways. You know, I love butches. Shout out to all butches.
Well, we're out of time. Doll, thank you so much for coming on After Action Report, and congratulations on what sounds like a really amazing scene. And yeah, I hope everybody sterilized their knives after the lesbian BDSM sex party. And I know they do. I know that nobody's as responsible, meticulous, and thorough as a kinky fucking dyke.
Oh, you would not believe the bureaucracy involved at the lesbian sex party.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Doll. What an amazing experience. I am so glad you have such a creative, kinky-ass girlfriend to take you places that you want to go. And if you, yes, you listening right now to this After Action Report, if you have a story like no other, if you had a new experience, if there's something you want to talk about, good, bad, indifferent, mid, write it up. Send it to q@savage.love. I have so much fun reading everyone's stories, and I have so much fun talking with people, real Savage Lovecast listeners about their real life experiences here on After Action Report. And you, yes, you could be my next guest. We'll have another After Action Report for you next Friday. Thank you for listening.
After Action Report. After Action Report.
After Action Report is sponsored by Load Boost by VB Health, a scientifically backed supplement designed to improve sperm health, prostate function, and overall experience. Head to loadboost.com and use my exclusive code SAVAGE to get 10% off, or click the link in the episode description. Elevate your performance with Load Boost. That's loadboost.com and use my exclusive code SAVAGE.